Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Entertainment Talk Nation podcast. This is Rob, and this podcast episode, we're going to review last night's episode of Monday Night Raw. And today joining us, we have a very special guest. He hails from New York, my old town, and I'd like to welcome Jim Kelly to the podcast. Jim, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? And I'm good, Rob. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. I figured be nice to have a wrestling fan partner through the podcast going forward. So you guys can expect to probably see Jim on most, if not all, of the wrestling podcasts. Obviously, schedules, we have to keep that into consideration, but
exactly,
we'll try to get you on here every show.
Hey, every chance I'm available.
All right, we got it. So, all right, Monday Night Raw last night. It was a far cry from last Monday's show, in my opinion. And I want to hear what you think. I wasn't too impressed with the show. It wasn't horrible, but it was just more of the same, that we've seen throughout the last 2-3 years coming from Raw.
Yeah, and it's just it kind of it sucks because it just blundered really badly yesterday. And I even wrote it down. There was the first, how it had Kevin Owens and all that, and Lashley, that whole storyline. Yep. That was a whole 40-minute segment.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's too much. And then the rest of the show just, it wasn't like last week, which was surprisingly really good, but I guess you can't expect them to, do back-to-back good weeks.
Yeah. Who needs consistency?
No. No such thing.
Yeah.
Don't need it.
Yeah. I thought, I've always said 3 hours is too long for a wrestling show. That's not either a pay-per-view or a house show where you're kind of gonna, things are not necessarily canon, so you can highlight some of your bigger stars that are not in big storylines. But this was painful to watch, and it's the same. It's more of the same thing. I mean, we'll probably do this show every week, and we'll probably be saying the same thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Likely.
So, but we're gonna go over match by match, and then we're also gonna talk about AEW and NXT's ratings that came in earlier today from last Wednesday's showing, which was the day before holidays. So that does play a role into that. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about that briefly because obviously tomorrow is NXT and AEW, which we will be reviewing Thursday. Probably in the afternoon. And putting that up on the podcast show because I prefer watching NXT on Wednesday nights, and I tend to watch AEW the following morning. So that's kind of how I've been doing it, So all right, I'm gonna let you take over here, Jim. You start off, and
all right,
let's go over match by match and segment by segment, and we'll just spitball back and forth.
All right, you got it. So Raw opened up last night with Rollins and Kevin Owens doing this whole apology thingy. And then, how from last week, the Authors of Pain, how they might be with Rollins, they might be not. Who really knows? And all that kind of happens. And then Lana comes out. And I only don't specify on these promos because they're so boring that it really serves no purpose in telling you. So after, honestly, I'm not kidding you, 25 minutes of that, we finally get to our first match, which was Lashley versus Owens, and Owens wins via DQ after AOP comes out and attacks him. And that match was just meh. It was just that.
Yeah. Lashley, as much as I like the guy, he just really hasn't found his footing since he's joined last year.
Yeah.
Or was that earlier this year? No, I think it was last year.
No, it was last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they don't know what to do with him, and it's shocking because you have almost a literal tank in the ring. You're telling me you can't make him this powerful being? No, you put him in this whole, cheating storyline. Like, come on, like he deserves better than that.
Yeah, and the saddest thing is, and this is not saying this is a good thing, this has probably been his best storyline since he's been there.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the 100%. Sad thing is that he's been there, and this has been his best storyline. Yeah. I love Kevin Owens regardless what he's in. He always does something. He always he's the kind of wrestler that he can make the best out of any bad situation. But as you said, because this was so long and drawn out, and I'm also very confused about this dynamic with AOP. I mean, you got a tag team that's attacking a single star, AOP, I love AOP, especially when they were back in NXT.
Oh, yeah.
And they obviously haven't been utilized very well. I mean, that seems to be a common theme. But this is a tag team that you recently brought back. The first thing I would do is put them into a nice rival with the War Machine, which I still call. I don't call them Viking Raiders. I don't.
Trust.
I don't accept them. I love them. I love them as War Machine, and they will always be War Machine. So I don't know what's going on with this dynamic between AOP and Seth, and I don't know if they're trying to make it so that AOP's like Seth is going to be Seth Rollins, like bodyguards of some sort. If they're trying to build like a faction there, and I don't know. But yeah, like you said, it was way too long, and Kevin Owens can only do so much for so long. Yeah. Lana, look, I will say this. She's been getting good heat.
Yes.
I'll give her that much. I mean, she, but it needs to be in smaller doses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, too much of her is way too much because she's not good at the mic. Like, she can cut a decent promo, but to be honest, since she's gone like the whole American accent thing, her promos kind of died.
Yeah,
and not as in your face like a punch kind of thing.
Yeah, and she just can't promo for too long. Otherwise, she starts to lose her words.
And look at what she did yesterday, which she was calling Owens. What was he? A pizza eater, chicken eater?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she was trying to call him like a normie or something like that.
Yeah, like my 3-year-old cousin can make better jokes than that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. So. All right, so what do we got next after that?
So after that match, Lana and Lashley get arrested, and then Owens gets dragged out by AOP. And then it cuts to commercial, and then we get our second match of the night, which, by the way, did I tell you that there's only 5 matches last night on Raw?
And I think 4 of them were squash matches?
Yes, they were. Yeah. So this was squash match number 1 with Drew McIntyre versus Akira Tozawa. So.
Yeah, I mean, I love Drew McIntyre. This is another wrestler I think they should be pushing to the moon, but and it's not. And look, I don't know why they had to make this a squash match.
No.
I mean, you have Drew McIntyre and Tozawa's fantastic. Why not just make it a good match? I mean, we've seen plenty of good big guy, small guy matches. There's no reason they had to make this a squash match.
No, there wasn't. I think it was because they have like, it's weird because it feels like Drew's almost in 2 storylines right now. It's like he's working with Randy, but then he's also doing his own thing.
Yeah.
I'm very confused by the booking of that. But yeah, like you just said, you don't need to make that a squash match. You could have easily had them go 15, 20 minutes, just have a good freaking match, and then go along from there.
Yeah, and nope. I mean, because at least you would have made Tozawa look strong by giving him a longer match. Yeah. He's obviously got great skills. So, yeah, I mean, Drew, like I said, I love Drew, but it's a very odd pairing. If you're not going to make it a longer match, an entertaining match, then why even pair them up?
Yeah.
It's just like you said, bad booking. It just doesn't make sense.
It's just wasting talent with him, with Tozawa. It's just all wasted talent right there because it's like, what is he going to gain from that? He gains nothing from it.
Nope. And didn't he recently just lose to, oh my God, there was somebody else he lost to recently. I can't remember if it was Leo Rush or.
It might have been because I think he just had a cruiserweight title.
I was just going to say, didn't he just, yeah. So, this guy has, and he has great skill and a wrestler you should probably be building up a little bit, especially in your cruiserweight division. At least let him have a strong outing against Drew McIntyre. I'm not saying you have to let him win. Obviously, don't let him win, but give him a strong showing, especially after he just lost the title match.
Exactly. Make him look good. And the problem is, because I could rant about Tozawa all day because his New Japan stuff, fantastic. Then he comes here and it's just like, oh, well, just another wrestler from, not WWE. That's it. That kind of feels like that when they take big stars from other companies. It's like they basically poop on them and make them feel worthless. It's like that's not a rival company, man. You're WWE. You are the top dog. There's no one rivaling you. The only rivalry you had is AEW, and it just shows that it's not going to be like that. So there's no competition.
No, not right now.
So stop taking this big top name talents and just burying them when they get here.
Yeah. And the thing of it is AEW's in their infant stages, so it's not like they have to
exactly
be concerned with that right now. But
they're at a nothing to lose case right now, AEW. They're just putting out wrestling and hoping people watch.
Right.
WWE, they kind of have something to lose right now because their product over the last, honestly, since probably 2009, has not been good. It has not been good. It has bright little spots of good, but overall, no, it's terrible. The product's terrible.
Yeah. So what do we have? So what do we have after that match?
All right. So then after the match happens, McIntyre calls out Orton. Orton comes out, and then the OC comes out, and they all fight between Orton, and then Humberto comes out, Ricochet, Mysterio. It's a whole big cluster of madness going on. Fists are flying all over the place. And then the next match, which was, again, another squash match, which was Tony Nese versus Alistair Black. And it was good. I could always watch Alistair Black. He's fun to watch. But again, you're taking someone like Tozawa, another cruiserweight, and you're just burying Tony Nese, who's another top talent that you have on your roster. You're just burying him again.
Yeah, and Tony Nese is not a small guy. He was about as big as Alistair. So Alistair Black. So why are we squashing it? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm hoping possibly against hope that this is just a slow burn of a build for Alistair Black.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let myself get completely wrapped up in that idea because this is WWE. But I don't understand why this had to be a squash match either. You know, why not just make it? I mean, Tony Nese is a very good wrestler.
Yeah,
he's very competent. So why are we squashing? You know, what is this doing for Tony Nese? You know what I mean?
Nothing.
Again, he doesn't have to beat Alistair Black, but give us in a 3-hour show with all these wrestlers you have. First of all, 5 matches is just inexcusable.
Yeah.
Second of all, squash matches are squash matches. They're meant to not last very long. So why? So you're telling me a 3-hour show, 4 squash matches, all took maybe about 5 minutes. I mean, that's ridiculous.
It is.
And on top of that, you're destroying some of your talent, you know, by making them look like idiots.
Yeah, because, like, I understand they're the cruiserweight division, but when you have someone like Tony Nese going up against Alistair Black, like, you can tell it's not that big of a difference. Only the height, but that's it. But just because they're cruiserweights does not mean you should bury them. It just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on because I know Alistair and Buddy Murphy are about to go into a program together, but it's not like a stepping stone. This doesn't feel like, you know, one of those little like stepping stone matches. This just felt like a straight up squash match. Like, we're just putting it on because we need to put on something. Like, it doesn't feel like, hey, this is going to be something next into the program that we're building.
Yeah. And I mean, and I know Tony Nese got some of his moves in, but really it wasn't the match it should have been.
No.
When you consider what Tony Nese has accomplished up to this point. And if anything, this should have been an excellent, entertaining match, but it wasn't.
It should have been a show stealer match. If you told me Tony Nese and Alistair Black are going to fight tonight, I'd be like, front row seat.
Yeah.
But if they put on what they put on last night, you're going to be like, really? Like, this was the worst disappointment I've ever freaking been involved in.
Yeah. So then I think the next match was what? Rowan versus No Way.
Oh, no, that happens later in the show, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. I know that's one of the other squash matches.
The next squash match was Eric Young versus Andrade.
Oh my God. This one actually pissed me off.
Oh man.
This one pissed me off. You know what? Poor Eric Young.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
What have they done to this man?
I don't know.
I mean, Killian Dane is doing this thing back in NXT. I think the other guy, I forget his name, but I think
Alexander Wolf
is with Imperium. Yeah,
that's a great squad to watch, man.
And I love that. And Nikki Cross it's funny. She ended up coming up way after Sanity did, and she's the one that I would say blew up at this point because she's actually doing pretty well.
Very well. I'd say very well for her.
But Eric Young is like a Boy Scout now. He doesn't even. I mean, it's like, I can only imagine how he's feeling right now from being one of the top mini factions in NXT, then getting called up. And basically, what did they have? One little micro moment of a feud with the New Day, and then they disappear off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it just were gone. It's like Thanos just came in and just snapped, and they were gone.
Yes. and the thing of it is I'm thinking to myself, yeah, and this match does piss me off. You know why? Because here are 2 former NXT guys that you know for a fact these two can put on a damn good match.
Absolutely.
And it's just I don't understand. I don't understand it.
I don't. Did Eli like? Sorry, I called him Eli. EY, did he like sleep with Vince McMahon's like family member? Like, did he sleep with Linda? Like, what happened?
I don't know.
What happened to Eric Young? What happened?
And he's all shaven. I mean, he looks like a
broken. He looks broken.
I know.
He looks like a broken man. Like, if I would have seen him, I would have probably gave him like a couple of bucks and be like, dude, cheer up, man. Like,
yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, then after that garbage dump, we have even some more garbage dump when R-Truth comes out with the 24/7 championship and he hides with Kyle Busch and some other race car driver. And if you didn't see it coming, R-Truth loses the title to Kyle Busch. And
yes.
We could just jump right over that. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, one quick thing is at that 24/7 title, it started off as an entertaining thing, and now it's just like, no one's taking it seriously. Nobody takes it seriously. I mean, what is it like? R-Truth is like 25-time champion already.
Yeah,
with that stupid belt.
Yeah, so like because while it is for entertainment, they kind of lost its luster. Like when you had the program with Truth and Maverick, and they were just going back at each other. Like you should have ran that thing for months. You ran it for like 4 months, and then it was like, okay, now let R-Truth do what he got to do. And
well, it's not only that, but why not just, give the belt some value in terms of, all right, yes, we understand there's a rule that's 24/7, but it doesn't mean that every time somebody's defending it or going for it, it has to be out in the, why not actually set up an in-ring match and let it develop from a one-on-one into a battle, do something different. But every week it's the same thing.
Yep.
One person's hiding. The other person rolls them up from the back. They win the belt. Then this person wins the belt. And it's like, there's so much more you can do with that. And it's just like they're not putting any thought into it.
Exactly.
I think it is a potentially entertaining, and it's okay to have comedy in wrestling. That's what a lot of wrestling was built on.
Mm-hmm.
But it dries out really quick when you're doing the same thing over and over and over. I would have loved to have had a portion on a pay-per-view or something where you're having a 24/7 title match within the ring, an actual ring match between, let's say, Maverick and R-Truth during those little run back and forths they were having, and have them wrestle. And then it just little by little, it turns into like one big battle royal in the ring because everybody's coming out trying to fight for the belt.
Yeah.
That would have been so different and so entertaining. And that's the kind of match you want to put on after like a big match to kind of get the crowd to kind of relax, unwind, maybe have a couple of laughs, and not something that they have to go crazy or pop for. But I think it's a good follow-up match to one of those big matches that tend to drain the energy of a crowd. Yeah. And you can have it before your next big match. I don't know. That's just me.
I 100% agree, actually. Like, they just need to do something different. Like, when they were in Saudi Arabia, I had this whole thing planned out what they could have done that would have been hilarious to do and watch. Like, have, like, Maverick chase R-Truth through the freaking desert and shit on Camelback. Sorry for cursing, but
no, it's okay.
Like chase him on Camelback or do something that was you think you'll never see before, But like you were saying, it's just repetitive. It's like throwing paint on the wall and hoping to get a different color.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna fail, and as we can see, it's failing. And
yeah, it's just not fun anymore.
Yeah, and all right. So after that whole 24/7 thing, we have the next squash match, which was Eric Rowan versus No Way Jose. And that was a big stinker. I even wrote it down. I put stinker.
Yeah, it was just dumb. It was just, it's sad that when you see certain wrestlers come out, you just know it's either going to be a squash match or they're going to lose. And No Way Jose is like, the minute he comes out, I literally can get up and walk away because I already know what the end result is.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? This guy might be a good wrestler. I didn't get to really see him in NXT at the time. I don't think he was used very much there to begin with because I was watching NXT when he was still down there, and I hardly ever saw him. I mean, I don't think he was in any major storylines.
Oh, no major storylines.
Yeah, but irregardless,
like he could work, but it's like it's remember who was that? Adam Rose, and he had the rosebuds and stuff.
Yes, I
it's
do
the
remember that.
Same exact
it's the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, what do you think? We're stupid. We're not going to notice you're doing the exact same gimmick.
Yep.
That's the other thing. I can go on that for a long time. Is why I hate that WWE thinks the fans are stupid. They think we're stupid. Like no,
or that we forget things easily. Yeah, but for me, more than anything, and look, I don't care if he's doing a No Jose thing. That's fine. That's actually people that probably get. Who knows if you gave the guy a little push, maybe even a little tug. Who knows? I mean, he might very well get over.
Exactly.
I mean, no one ever boos the guy when he comes out, and I always see people in the crowd dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but you're not giving it a chance. He comes out and he's treated like a chump.
The only way you can catch a fish is if you throw bait in the water.
Yeah,
but they're not going to do that with him. He's just there to be like, oh, look at him. He's about to get his ass beat.
Yeah.
Poor No Way Jose.
Yeah.
But then after that, we actually get, personally, because I've been reading and people are hit or miss on this one, but the Kabuki Warriors versus Charlotte in the handicap match, I thought was a pretty good match.
It was the best match of the night.
It was really good.
And here's the thing. Like I said in my last WWE podcast, when I was kind of rounding up that week of wrestling, Charlotte Flair is one of my favorite, or if not my favorite female wrestler, because of the things she can do in the ring, her athleticism. I just think she's an incredible performer. What I don't like is that WWE thinks she is the end-all be-all of what they have. Even to a certain extent over Becky. It's almost like they gave Becky the belt because the crowd wanted that, but you can tell they kind of really want to leave it on Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like, I mean, again, it was a great match, but it makes Charlotte look a lot stronger than she already is. And it kind of makes the Kabuki Warriors look like idiots.
In a way, yeah.
In a way, you know what I mean? Like, and clearly you can see, I think Asuka and Charlotte have such great chemistry in the ring. Like, I love Kairi Sane, but she almost felt like a third wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when her and Charlotte were going one-on-one, it just wasn't the same effect that Asuka and Charlotte have. They just have great chemistry. But yeah, I thought it was a fantastic match. I mean, I like that the Kabuki Warriors have gone from a tag team that I thought was going to be like a placeholder for the belts, you know, because for a while they weren't. It was an odd pairing. Mm-hmm. Then you hardly saw them. Then they won the belts, and the first few weeks they had the belt, you didn't see them very often. Then little by little, we started seeing them a lot more. Then they started going heel, and which I thought was probably the best thing they did for them. And now they seem like a big deal, you know, and I like them. So at the same time, I don't necessarily want them to be looking like there's any incompetence in the ring when they have an obvious advantage over somebody. Yeah. But again, it's Charlotte Flair, and as much as I love her, I just don't like the fact that WWE just kind of hangs everything on her. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, she's won the belt how many times? She's 10-time champion already.
Yeah,
it's absurd.
In her main roster, 5-year career, I believe.
10 times.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you figure if she does another 10 years of wrestling, which is a lot for the female competitors. They tend to, a 15-year career for female competitors, that's a lot to ask. Not many women have done that. But she's capable. I mean, she's got the build. She's physically very strong. So, I mean, if she's gotten she's a 10-time champion in 5 years. What do you think another 10 years from now? I mean, we're looking at 22, 23?
Probably a lot more, given that she's Ric Flair's daughter.
Yeah.
Because that's, I believe, is why they push her to the moon as much as they do. And you also brought up a great point about how it kind of almost made the Kabuki Warriors look a little bit weak. Because if this was like them two, like Kabuki Warriors versus like someone like Nia Jax, who's bigger and could look and come off as a threat. I could see them having a hard time. But with Charlotte, you shouldn't be having as hard of a time as you did.
No, not at all.
But yeah, but they basically, she's like Iron Man, Charlotte. So it's just, you can't.
Yeah.
She's almost unstoppable in a way. But, we'll see. Because if she can stay healthy, I can guarantee you'll see like a 30-time champion out of Charlotte, because they will always give her the title no matter what. And you're 100% right on Becky. They gave it because the fans wanted it, but they really want Charlotte to be the face of the company.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's going to happen. Trust me. Becky's falling off every week. She's kind of dying down just a tad bit more.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte's going to walk right in, and we're all going to be back to square one.
Yep, exactly.
So, all right. Then after that good handicap match, I forgot. We had another squash match. So there was 6. I totally forgot this. But the only reason why I remembered it is because I wrote Viking Raiders squash match. Don't know why they still do them. They're tag team champions.
Yes.
Because
so those 6 matches then, not 5. We were okay.
Yeah, but it's like you get these local talents. They're your tag team champions. They should be facing a tag team in your division.
Yeah.
Why are they facing local talent as tag team champions? They've already been built. We already know who they are. We've seen them have some good matches. Why are we doing this? Why?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, gosh.
I agree. And I love War Machine.
I do too.
I wish they would have said in NXT, to be quite frank.
A lot of people should have stayed in NXT.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but Ciampa refused to go to the main roster.
It made me laugh because I love his response.
Yeah,
it makes sense though, his response.
Yeah. Well, I think he said that if they were to take him up to the main roster, he'd just retire.
Yeah, because he was saying, because his neck, they were like, it's either I can wrestle 50 times in a year for NXT or do 200 times on the main roster. And then that 200 times of doing it, that's wear and tear on your neck. He's like, I could get more years out of my career in NXT than on the main roster. And
but deep down inside, he's like, I ain't fucking going up there.
Yeah, exactly the reason why.
I'm not going up there.
Screw that, because then he's going to be on lock. That's it. He's going to be locked around the wrist and told what to do, where to go. In NXT, I believe there is character freedom. That's why the people that are getting over, and that's why they are doing well in NXT, because there's character freedom.
And not only that, but from what I understand, March of next year, I think they're going to be moving out of Full Sail.
Yeah,
they're going to go to bigger crowds now, because they now that they're on TV, they want that bigger feel, So they're going to be in front of bigger crowds. They're going to be generating more money. So yeah, I have a feeling a lot of those competitors are going to want to stay down there. Although the one that I know is going to come up because Vince is just going to steal him is probably Keith Lee.
Yeah, I could see, but that's gonna hurt. You want to know why? Because Keith Lee isn't going to do anything. He's just going to be the wandering guy. He's like, oh, look at the big man. He could do big man things. And that's it. It's just like, can you realize what you got? Like, please.
I saw the guy do a flying spin kick, and he's like 350 pounds.
The dude wrestles like a cruiserweight.
I know. It's insane what he can do.
He's great to watch, Keith.
He is. And it took him so long. It really took them so long to feature him on NXT, even when he was there. Like, it's only like the past couple of months, and they've had him for a little over a year already.
Yeah.
I mean, he came around the same time Matt Riddle came in, and Matt Riddle came in and made an impact right away when he was facing Ono.
Yeah.
But Keith Lee, you rarely saw him for almost this whole time until like the last 3 or 4 months. And obviously the fans are just crazy about him. So
wouldn't you if you saw the things he was doing?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Like his match with Dijakovic, like those matches, like, come on now. Like,
Dijakovic is another one.
That's a great talent.
He is another
great
one.
Talent.
I mean, he is taller than Keith Lee. Not bigger, because Keith Lee is like just wider, but
yeah,
some of the things that Dijakovic can do is insane too. I mean, these big guys have really embraced wrestling like the smaller guys. You know what I mean? And they keep their power moves, but then they integrate those high flying or those striking tactics, and it's incredible to watch. I mean, even like what was it, Ivar? They call him Ivar now. Listen, never was his name, but from War Machine, with the stuff that he can do.
Yeah.
So
like the big men can do things.
Yeah. So
what it comes down to.
And with this match, going back to, because we kind of fell off the board here, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't know what the point of is, usually you do this this is the kind of match I remember you used to watch on Saturday afternoon with wrestling superstars back in like the 90s.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, I know you're probably a little young for that, but
I was, yeah.
yeah, but that's what they used to do. They used to just put some of their talent up against locals, and I don't know why you would do this with the Vikings. There's enough tag team. You have, I mean, put them up against, I don't know, oh God, I can't believe I'm forgetting their names as I speak. Zack Ryder and
Kurt Hawkins.
Who I was hoping after WrestleMania they would actually make something out of these two. No. They were so over during that match at WrestleMania when they won the belts. And it's why not just ride that, man?
Yep, ride the storm.
But no, WWE can't do that. So yeah, but I agree with you. This match was disappointing. It was like filler. It's like why are you doing this?
Yeah, it just makes no sense. So then after that, we had finally the main event, which was the OC versus Mysterio, Ricochet, and Humberto, with the OC picking up the victory. And I really thought it was a good match. I liked it, especially the Avalanche Styles Clash. I thought that was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Anytime you put Ricochet and AJ Styles in the ring together, I am sold.
Yeah, Ricochet's another one that I really, really love.
Yeah.
The superhero shit. I mean, I'm trying not to curse here, but it really gets me frustrated when I see these great wrestlers and they're giving these stupid gimmicks. And this whole superhero thing, when he's sitting there and they're having a little promo before the match, and he's talking to Ray and Humberto, and he's like, we can really show that superheroes are real. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was corny. That was really corny, man.
I was like, I love you, man. I know it's not your fault. They're telling you to say this, but God, sometimes, man, maybe just shut up and take the fine.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Take the punishment, because
that was bad.
But I agree with you. I mean, the match was fine. These guys are all very talented.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have no problem with the match at all. It's just, I wanted the OC to be a bigger faction than what they are. And when I mean bigger, like almost dominating, like it would have been nice to see, like the OC, Carl and the Good Brothers had the tag team belts. It was a very short amount of time, but it would have been nice if they all had belts for the same amount of time that AJ's was carrying the US belt before he lost it.
Yeah.
And Humberto, again, talented guy. They've kind of ruined him, in my opinion.
Yep.
It's okay to have an upset. It would have been okay if he beat, AJ Styles a couple of weeks ago. I mean, they used to do this stuff back in the day. I remember when they did it with the 1-2-3 Kid and Razor Ramon.
Yep.
And that's what made the 1-2-3 Kid, who became obviously Pac later, X-Pac.
Yep.
But it's okay. Now, what I think, let me tell you something, I'll give you my opinion on this. What I think they should do, and I think this would be a great thing for Humberto, and I think it would help kind of reverse his fortune. Now that Rey Mysterio has a U.S. title, they should have Humberto turn heel against him and beat the crap out of him, talking about like, you told me I was next in line, and here you are. You're coming here. You're taking opportunities away from me, and you've already had your career. Like, I think that would be great if they did something like that.
Yeah, they need to do something like that with Humberto, because the thing is, like, he kind of literally has a baby face. So you might want to make him heel, just because with heel, you're able to express more. As babyface, you always need to be the good guy. But a heel, you could kind of balance that a bit. You could kind of be good. You could kind of be bad.
You can be an anti-hero, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, who naturally, the guy was never, ever a face. It was the crowd that made him a face.
Exactly.
He's
beating up the boss. How is that any remotely supposed to be a good thing?
Yeah.
But it was to people who wanted to beat up their boss, So
yeah, that's true. I can attest to that.
I think we all could.
So yeah, I mean, the last match was fine because you got all that talent in the ring. It's hard for them to mess it up. And then obviously. Now, here's the thing: who is Randy Orton going to feud with? Is he going to feud with Drew McIntyre? Or is he going to feud with AJ Styles? I'm kind of confused here because we had that promo with with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, which I was loving. That was one of the probably the best promo of the night between those two. And then it kind of went south when the OC came out, and then it shifted from a rivalry between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton to AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and then Drew McIntyre just up and left. It's like, what?
Yeah,
this kind of happened in an odd way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before about McIntyre. I was like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, it's like he seems like he's in this program with one person, but he's with Orton. But to answer your question, I think it's going to be like, I guess both. I guess it's going to be like a triple threat, or they're going to bounce off each other. It's going to lead into some number one contendership for the U.S. title because they, for some reason, have Styles as mid card. Well, actually, I know the reason, because your main champion is not there. But anyway,
and he won't be there for the rest of the year.
No,
I don't know why they keep giving this guy the belt. They should have let Mysterio. They should have gave him the title. At Survivor Series,
and tell Brock to kick rocks. That's what they should have done. But no, they're gonna just feed into this guy's freaking, I don't know, and just give him more money to sit with the main title while they only have the U.S. title just lingering.
Yeah,
it makes no sense, man. It's because there's so much good talent there too. And I'm not saying that's nothing against Brock, but you have a lot of good young talent. You don't need Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry, you do not need him anymore.
Yeah, well, they I guess they feel like they do, but yeah. So overall, I mean, Raw was just it was Raw. What you come to expect, and it's not to say that last week's show was great, Survivor Series was great. But this was a very odd Monday Night Raw. Like I said, we had 6 matches, a couple of squash matches that made no sense, and a good main event. It was fun, and a good handicap match with Flair and the Kabuki Warriors. But outside of those 2 matches, the other 4 were just horrendous.
Exactly.
They didn't really develop anything, and we are a little over a week away from TLC. They haven't announced any matches yet.
Not even one.
Yeah, and you don't seem to be building any major storylines leading into TLC. Brock Lesnar is not going to be around. He's not going to wrestle the rest of the year. Your NXT angles ended, so NXT is back to NXT. And now your probably the best storyline they got going right now is Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm. And I'm being genuine about that. I'm not critical. That's a good storyline for those 2. Much better than the Fiend and Seth Rollins. With that said, I will say that I think they have the potential to set Seth Rollins up to be a good heel with his conversion. I kind of like what he said to Charlie Caruso when he was like, everybody wants to criticize, but nobody wants to step up and be a leader. I kind of like that story they're telling where he kind of sees that he's trying to do the right thing. Everything he almost like that Thanos story. You know what I mean? Like, to him, it makes sense. To him, it's a good thing. To him, he's doing the right thing, but it's not working out for everybody else,
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just rough. It's like, because Seth as a face just stinks. I got to admit, it stinks, but his heel stuff has always been good. So maybe leading him down that direction of being a heel is what is necessary.
And yeah, I agree. And I have a feeling it wouldn't surprise me. Let me say this. If Seth and Roman, their paths collide by the time WrestleMania rolls around. And that's how you kind of get Roman over again. I mean, he's over now. Let's put it this way. The crowd don't super pop for him, but they don't boo him anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's not being forced down our throats.
Exactly. In fact, some people even express actually missing him a little bit now that after dealing with Rollins, because Rollins, but at the same time, it's not all these guys' fault. This is what they're being told to say. Yeah, writing is horrendous.
Oh gosh, I could go through that all day. It's because the difference between NXT and main roster. NXT has wrestling writers. Main roster has comedy and
producing
writers, kind of, TV show writers.
Yeah, and Vince McMahon at the helm, which makes it worse.
Oh, dude.
So,
oh gosh, I don't know.